Welcome to another episode of Voices of Inclusion. I'm so excited today because we have Carlyn Morris with us today, and she's going to explain who she is and what she does in a moment. But as you know, Carlyn, as I mentioned before that we started recording, this is not a normal interview. We're going to go way under the surface.
Yeah.
So, are you ready to go where the real wisdom lives, where there might be surprises and unexpected truths revealed? Are you ready to go there?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, before we go there, why don't you give us just an overview of who you are and what you do, and we'll get deeper in the discussion.
Sure. Sure. Thanks, Priya. I guess at heart, I am a recovering advertising executive, having spent 25 years in digital marketing, still do some here and there. Much like a lot of other people, I got laid off in the pandemic and decided to abandon corporate America and start my own outdoor adventure company called Back to Wild Adventures. So I've been doing that for 5 years, which is just my heart and my passion. Really, the idea came about through not having friends that were really outdoorsy or they would always say no. Also, not seeing a good reflection of the types of people that I was seeing out, be it camping, hiking, kayaking. There just wasn't, I guess, a dispersed representation of that. So I wanted to be sure that anything that I did was completely inclusive, of which the foundation and the tagline is everybody is welcome in the outdoors. We celebrate your size, your age, your race, your capability, your sexual orientation, and your gender identification. We want you to be you and know that you are welcome and there are friends out there for you and there is a place for you. So I have been pouring my heart into that. Like I said, I do some marketing, obviously for myself, friends and family as well, here and there. And amidst the, I guess, abandoning corporate America, I also sold my house in Chicago and moved to a small town in Michigan called Dowagiac. It's literally 2 hours right around the lake. I feel like instead of being across the street, I'm just across the lake from Chicago and chose a much quieter life and really enjoy it. I do marketing for a local brewery here called Sister Lakes Brewing, and I really enjoy that on a local level, really being involved in the community, meeting new people, and just supporting such a great business. Originally from Texas. I don't know, I don't hear my accent, but everybody else usually does. So yeah, I grew up in Texas. Lucky enough to have a dad and three older brothers, and they taught me all and gave me my love for the outdoors and really just sparked in me at a certain age that, you know what, it's time. We've got to get back outside and get back to wild.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's why you're here.
Yeah.
We really want to amplify and highlight people who are leading through inclusivity, but also through their personal passions. And you are right at the nexus of those two things. So, at Roundtable Institute, we believe that everyone influences the people around them, whether they like it or not. And just by existing in the world, we create ripples like, when we order our coffee with the barista, we can change the whole course of their day just by the way we show up. And in that way, we're all leaders. So the first question I have for you is, what kind of leader are you?
Well, that's a good question. I think, first of all, I would say the showing up part is very important. And I believe that we all wake up in the morning and you choose. You can choose. Am I going to be in a bad mood or am I going to be in a good mood? And I choose every morning that I'm going to show up for people and I'm going to be the best I can be. Sure, we all have stuff going on, but I want to set that tone and get the day started and try, not toxic positivity. I know there's a lot of that, but just in a lighter, more positive approach. I would also say, especially if you ask people who used to work with me, very honest. I am the first one. If I make a mistake, whoa, 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 stop. I did this. Here's what I'm going to do to keep it from happening in the future.
Uh-huh.
I am, I'm really honest and inclusive in that I believe that everybody needs the big picture and the little picture
Yeah,
because if you don't know your part in painting that picture, then you're not going to be as invested.
I
So
love
I was
that.
always honest to let everybody know, hey, this is what's happening. This is what, this is your part and you're adding to this. I think those are two, and I think honesty goes along with transparency as well.
Mhm.
I am, when I'm leading people on hikes or camping trips or whatever, they always get, Carlin's tips. And I am very honest, especially here in the Midwest, how quickly the weather can change, telling them, please don't wear Uggs and Crocs. Like it's just not safe. Like, and, these are things that can happen. These are some good reminders. So I always try to be transparent. And in doing, you add showing up, honesty and transparency all together. And I think that helps empower everybody in the
Yeah, I
organization.
love it. Honesty, transparency, but also like what I love so much about what you shared about what kind of leader you are is that it starts with a decision we make in the morning about how we're going to show up. It's one of the things we teach a lot because we don't have a lot of control over things like the weather. We don't
Mhm.
have control over other people's reaction, but we do have control over our mindset. So I love that. And I just have to follow up with that. How do you choose the mindset? What is the process you have to go through when it feels when you're frustrated, when you're down, when you're like, I just don't want to get out of bed, when it's harder to choose that mindset? What's your process of getting there?
Two key things for that. One is meditation, be it in the morning or just like you said, we all hit the 3 o'clock wall, and there are oftentimes I'll sit down, and even if it's 20 minutes, take that 20 minutes
Yeah.
and do a mind reset. And it can be so refreshing. So I'm a big, big fan of that. But if I just feel like the gears are grinding down, it's like, you know what? Grab the hiking boots, grab the hat, the
Yeah, me
jacket, let's
too.
go. I am going to go outside. I'm going to put my feet on the ground. I'm going to touch a tree. I'm going to probably sit down on the ground, actually. Maybe meditate there, maybe a few breaths. But those two key things are really what keeps me focused and keeps me from, yeah, like you said, we all have bad days and bad things happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I choose to change my mindset, or I choose to approach it a different way through meditation and time spent outdoors.
Yeah, thank you for that. I have a lot of, in your narrative, I've also heard a lot of grace and imperfection, like grace for imperfection. We're human, we're going to stumble, we're going to make mistakes along the way. But it is amazing. I'm like you, like, showing my face to the sun if the sun is out
Mhm.
or putting my hands in the soil. It's amazing how that can just ground me. And I don't need too much extra time to do those things, right? I can do it in a 3-minute walk,
Yep.
longer if I need to. But yes, thank you for that. Okay. Carlyn, how do you, given your varied personal and professional experiences, how do you want to be known?
I want to be known as someone who did accept everybody. I
Mhm.
used to have well, I still do, not a rule, but kind of a welcoming, everybody's welcome in my home and there's no judgment here. And I think that having been judged myself, and we all have, having that welcoming and knowing that I did my
Mhm.
part to include, because I know what it's like to be left out. I mean, we all know that. But at the end of the day, I included everybody, and maybe just maybe I taught somebody something about
Yes.
the outdoors, or like I take a lot of women on my hikes, and a lot of them come in because they don't have outdoor friends. And now I've got a group of them. They all met on one of my hikes and they all go hiking and camping together. It's awesome. So if I helped you make another friend too, I think that's my success.
Oh, I love it so much. So bringing people together, but also being I love the word welcoming. I've been thinking about in my head, just like what are all the words that I would put in a word cloud around the word inclusion? I think welcoming is a big one, right? Can we energetically be welcoming of other people? Another word you said is accepting.
Mhm.
Just like without conditions, sometimes it can be helpful to move into a place while we're maintaining safety boundaries, right? Of acceptance and there's tolerance, there's welcoming, there's generosity, there's all these things. I recently am thinking about the word consideration. Like sometimes I just want to be
Oh, yes.
considered,
Considered. Yeah.
in this process. I want to be considered. You don't have to like include me in it, always, but it's like for me, it's on the same continuum as like welcoming, consideration, inclusion. Like all these words are sort of they're nuanced, but they're meaningful for the human experience, I think.
Agreed. And I think, yeah, or consideration or ask, I just want to be asked. I
I
might
want to
not
be
go.
asked. Yeah.
I might stay home, but I would like to be asked.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love that. Okay. Uh, this one touches a nerve for some people. I'm curious where you're going to go with it. What do most people get wrong about you when they first meet you?
Oh, well, two things lead into this. One, the accent and the fact that I don't work in corporate America.
Uh-huh.
People don't know how smart I am sometimes.
Oh my
And that,
gosh.
especially when I was in corporate America with this accent, I mean, there were times that, you know, I mean, I was told you need to lose the accent or no one's going to respect you, really, because I probably have more
Wow.
people who respect me because again, I was myself. There's nothing, I mean, yes, I can try really hard to get rid of it. And now having left corporate America, um, people just assume like, oh, you're not working, you're not doing anything. And it's,
Oh, isn't that?
no, I
Yeah.
have four jobs. I will do whatever it takes, to keep this dream alive because this is what I want to do. And I think that's that misjudgment, and
Huh.
again, maybe I am left out of conversations and goes back to, I want to be considered, I want to be included. And then a lot of people don't know that I have a lot of tech experience. It came along with the advertising because I was at the beginning of digital marketing and we didn't know how to build this stuff. We didn't know what we were doing. So I was blessed to get that and then be able to apply that, thank God, to my company. People who don't have that background, God bless you. I don't know how you do it. But it really is that misjudgment of talent, skills, intellect, creativity, technology, that whole inclusive, I guess, bubble of who I am. A lot of people get that wrong because, first and foremost, I'm judged for the accent, and people automatically assume that you are not intelligent. And I think that they are surprised when they find out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how consistently we misunderstand and misjudge people,
Mhm.
and how it's such a daily occurrence for us to feel misunderstood and misjudged by others too. What do you do? I don't know how conscious you are of it. My guess is you're very conscious of it, but what do you do to ensure that you are understanding people the way they want to be understood?
I ask the questions. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're misunderstanding someone, there's always a vibe or an energy there. And I'll just
Yeah.
be like, hold on, I am off base. Something's wrong. Like, go
Yeah.
back. Let's start over because I don't think I'm understanding you correctly. And I do want to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I do want to be welcoming, just like you said. I think it's, again, being honest and admitting. I'm not, this just is not working. I don't not know what happened, but we can
Yeah.
talk about it or come at it another way.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, I'm the
inclusion,
same way.
yeah, you
And
have
I
to
find like
ask them.
you have to name the energetic
Yep.
shift, right?
Yes.
And I noticed that, and I'll, I do this work. I notice that people get hung up on it or it gets very uncomfortable.
Right.
Um, and I think it's because we're right on the edge of vulnerability. We're right on the edge of saying the thing that might have us feel, experience hard feelings, or we might
Yes.
get exposed, or we might, all the things that we were made fun of growing up or we were
Mhm.
shamed for growing up is like coming alive in this moment where I've misunderstood you. And it is a very courageous thing to claim this is how you've got me wrong, and this is who I am. That's a very courageous thing. And by saying, hang on a second, I think I might have got something wrong, you're inviting them into courage.
Right. And
Yeah.
understanding. And
And understanding. Yeah.
like you said, you get that weird or that energy shift. And a lot of this happens a lot. I do a lot of consulting for tech stack for companies and what they need. And I forget that everybody doesn't know, I just,
Yeah.
because this is my life, right? And we all
Yeah.
start talking and, I'm really good now to catch it and be like, hold on, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's okay. But people don't want to be perceived as not knowing. Yet
Right.
when you invite them into courage and I say, hold on, I don't, you know what? If this isn't making sense, you have to stop me and we'll start over and I'll come another way. I like that inviting them into courage versus continuing to have the conversation. And it's not going to end well because they don't understand. So, we
Totally.
just
Yeah.
wasted all of that time. So I think
Yes.
it is being conscious and understanding and asking the right questions. Point blank, does this make sense? Or
Yeah.
me asking back to you, I'm not getting this. Like, something's off
What am
here.
I missing?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. There's
Where
nothing
have
wrong.
I got this wrong? Yeah, I think that our society has set us
Yes.
up to prioritize knowing and that
Mhm.
there's like capital in knowing. And I want us to disarm ourselves of needing to know and needing to be right and like pursuing accuracy, right? Like,
Yeah.
because often those things happen at the expense of the relationship.
Right, and it invites learning. Here's a chance. I
Exactly.
always want to learn. So I definitely, if I'm off base, tell me. And I think that as we all get older, we all get busy, and there's so much with technology. I get it. I get burnt out too. I have to put the phone away. I have to put the computer away. All of that, but we have to continue to learn,
Mm.
to continue to evolve. But it goes back, how many people I deal with, and they act like they know. And
Oh
it's
my
like, you know
gosh.
what? If you would have just told me, or maybe I didn't pick up on it, it would have saved us so much more time. And
Yeah.
let's all agree that we're learning together. Everything
Let's
changes.
all agree. I mean, in an ideal world, do you
Yeah,
know
and
what
you
I
have
was
to do
thinking?
that in the
You have to,
outdoors.
and
You have to
I
adapt.
think it can be so scary
Hmm.
because you have got, not you, I just mean the general you, have gotten so many privileges for knowing,
Hmm.
and now you have to face the possibility that you don't know, and who are you if
Right.
you don't know,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yep. We've all
It's
been there.
fascinating. What commitments have you made in your life that you no longer believe in?
Oh. I would say, well, the first one is the pledge to corporate America, and you
Yeah,
have to have
totally.
the
That's a
job
big
and the
one.
insurance, and
Yeah.
that we were all taught that, and like my mom still worries. She's older, oh, I just worry, and I get it, but you don't have to do that. And given a second chance at it, I would do it completely differently. Like, there's
Uh-huh.
no 90-hour work
Really?
weeks.
What
There's
can
no,
you help us understand? What is the worry? What's the fear of letting it go?
I think a lot, I mean, when you look at an older generation, they stayed at the same, like my dad, I mean, he was a teacher for 32 years. He also had his own business. And we have a cattle ranch, but he stayed there his whole career. And you hear these people that retire from the same company after 40 years. Well, as Gen X, we weren't like that, and especially not in digital marketing because companies came and went so fast,
Yeah.
that again, you had to adapt, or someone recruited you to a better job, a better title, more responsibility, things like that, um, which I get. But it's sitting back now, being older and working for myself, and understanding that it doesn't matter how much you care, they're not going to care about you because you can be replaced with anybody. And I think
Wow.
that took me a while to learn
Yeah.
because for so long I thought I was so special because I was one of the only people who knew how to do all of this, right? And each time I would get laid off, it was literally the universe telling me that this is not your path, right?
Yeah.
And it
Totally
took me
good. Yeah.
25 years to figure it out. But
Yeah,
that
because
commitment is completely gone. And
awesome.
I can love a brand and I can help a brand, but I've got to stay true to me, and I give as much as I get, and that's it. I don't have to go above and beyond, and I don't have to put up with you know clients who are not kind. Let's just say that. I
Oh,
would
I know.
never, because we were all afraid we were going to get laid off. I mean, the whole industry was built on that fear, and
Gosh, I
so
know. I
so
know.
much abuse from clients and things like that. I would never do that again.
Yeah.
Um, I also no longer commit to an alarm clock. I
Nice.
trust
Yeah.
my body, and yeah, some days I get
Yeah.
up at 5, some days I get up at 7, and some days I get up at
I
9.
trust my body. What a
Mhm.
radical notion.
Yes, that's new for me too over the past few years. But understanding that my body's going to tell me,
Uh-huh.
no, you need more rest, or hey, we're good, let's get up, and you know, we'll get 5 hours of work done before anybody else is up, and that's okay too. Or I'll meditate or read or go for a walk or, something like that. Um, I definitely put my joy and myself first now
Mm-hmm.
versus
Mm-hmm.
anyone, where I used to put everyone else first, which we're always like that, especially women.
Women, yeah.
That was for me, that was just like a universal switch in my whole being when I learned that, okay, once I put myself first, everything else is better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
going back, looking at corporate America and all of that whole tenure, which I'm grateful, and I learned so much and met some of the best people in the world, but I would have changed the way that I presented myself and presented myself as first.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. I told you we were going to go under the waterline and we were going to
Okay.
get real. So here's what's happening for me as I hear you say this. One, I'm inspired because I think it's easier said than done to prioritize ourselves, especially as middle-aged women.
Mhm.
Number two, you're also making it sound really easy. And I know
Oh,
it wasn't. I
no.
know it was a struggle. And I know you probably had some internal conflict yourself.
Mhm.
And would you be willing to help me understand what was the thinking you had to go through to come to this new commitment to yourself when society is teaching
Mhm.
you the opposite?
Right. And we're women and we've been conditioned to be the caregivers and to, you know, make sure everything's taken care of. And especially in
Be
my family.
self-sacrificing and
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. And in my family, it was like that. And watched my mother and my grandmother always put everybody first. And I think it was when I just took a step back and I'm really trying to think what the thinking was. I had a shift into learning to love myself, which was a really hard thing.
mhm, mhm.
And putting the work in on that was the foundation that
Yeah,
then led me to put
yes.
myself first.
Isn't that
And
amazing that we're not
yeah,
taught skills to do that
no,
early?
right. Like,
Yeah,
why can't, like I always say, empower little girls. Tell them how smart they are, how creative they are. Yes, they're beautiful. Yes, they're cute, but don't start with that. Don't ever, my friends have kids and especially their daughters. I always ask them, what'd you learn at school today?
yeah,
You got to
exactly.
give me one
What
thing.
are you reading? Yeah,
Right, exactly. Or what's your favorite book? Or
yeah,
have you read this book? Would you be interested in it? Things like it's as a society, we have to make that switch as
yeah,
well
yeah, yeah,
and start now so that those generations don't have to struggle the way that we do
yeah,
or
yeah,
we did. And I
exactly.
do.
Yeah,
No, I do. I mean, I have days I do not love myself. We all know that.
sure.
But it goes back to I make the choice. Just like I make the choice in the morning, I make the choice to love myself. I make the choice to put
That's
myself
all
first.
you have control over. Like, I
Right.
think that we fool ourselves into thinking we have control over our performance at
Mm-mm.
work, over how people think of us, blah, blah, blah. You have some influence. Sure, you're a leader. But what do you have control over is really the choices you make, the words that come out of your mouth, and the behaviors you do every day,
Mhm.
every moment to moment.
And the way we choose to treat other people
Yeah,
and
exactly.
make that choice too.
Exactly. And ourselves. That's what I'm
Ourselves.
learning
Yeah.
from you is like, yeah, we can focus so much on treating other people right according to our moral compass, but we have to include ourselves in that too. And how we
Right.
treat ourselves is how we lead.
Right. And I think it's very evident that people can see if you were treating others one way and treat yourself another way. And if there's
Yes.
a disconnect,
Yeah.
like people see that and they get that.
Totally. Yeah, they do. We call it congruence, right? If
Right.
we're not, you know, number one, the rule of congruence is like what you're thinking and feeling on the inside is exactly what you're showing and
Mhm.
feeling on the outside. The more congruent you can be, the more trustworthy you'll be, the more influential you'll be, all those things.
Right.
But it goes along with this message too. Like if I'm treating myself this way, it's natural for me to treat the world in the
Mhm.
same way, whether it's other people or nature or my work or anything. It's congruence leads to good leadership. It leads to authenticity. It leads to followership.
And self-love. I mean, self-love is
Yeah.
the thing that really led me down the road to authenticity too. I mean, not that I wasn't always who I was, but making that choice too. Just like we talk about, faults and all. Hey, I made a mistake, or hey, you know what? I dropped the ball on that, or something. That authenticity and being willing to admit it, forgive
Yeah.
yourself first, and
Yeah.
move forward is the lesson then that you can apply to others when that happens to them and you
Right,
need to
right,
forgive
right.
them. And
Yeah.
because so often I feel like we forgive other people for things and then just beat
Beat
ourselves up.
ourselves up.
Like,
I
stop doing
know.
this.
It's so easy to do it.
Yep.
We all fall into that
That
trap.
voice,
I
that
think
ego
that's
voice.
right.
Right.
I really think that's what's going to change the world.
Yeah.
That kind of kindness towards ourselves, kindness to others. I don't know. People can call me idealistic or whatever, but I just believe it. I
Me
do.
too. I'll be right there with you.
Carlyn, where are you going to be in your life 1 year from today?
1 year from today, let's see. I've got some new initiatives that I'm launching. So, definitely leading and organizing my corporate offerings, which
Yes.
is a specific formula that I put together while I was ideating my company and all of my ideas and how you harness the power of Mother Nature and being outside. I call it getting out of the boardroom, BORED, um, and getting your team into nature. It opens up your mind to different ways of ideation, creativity, problem solving, anything that you have a question about to bring your team together to solve. So I do see that part of my business growing. I am also launching to be a professional speaker, and we'll be wrapping all of that up to launch in 2026. So I see myself in both of those arenas, and continuing to take people out on my hike adventures. It's always a double adventure. So you get hike and yoga or hike and photography or hike and watercolor and continuing to welcome people into the outdoors at anywhere, meet them where they are
Yeah,
and
please,
celebrate
please
who
continue
they
that.
are to hopefully give them the love of the outdoors as much
Yes.
as I have. And yes, I don't like snakes. Everybody's like, well, there's got to be something in Mother Nature you don't like. Yeah, I don't like snakes, but we just deal with it.
All right. One thing I've learned in my coaching work over the past 20 some years is that at any moment of time, we're all at a crossroads in our life. And that crossroads can feel really big, but often it's just small crossroads. And I'm curious if you can share what crossroads are you at in your life right now?
There's nothing really big. I feel everything is, I'm on my path. I feel like the universe, I'm manifesting and the universe is answering. My crossroads is things are a little bit slow. And I think a little bit of that is, well, no, a lot of that is on me.
Mm,
And I guess slow to me because normally I'm just go, go, go in launching these two new aspects of the corporate offering and the public speaking, and taking a little bit more time with it, refining it a little bit more. So that's on me for that. And I think another crossroads I've just been thinking about probably in the last 6 months is if I want to move somewhere else. I was
mm.
recently in the mountains up at Big Bear last month, and
Oh,
like that return to the mountains, and I was like, the mountains are calling, and I must go. So I guess that's really something like it's a new crossroads. I don't know if it's a crossroads per se, but
yeah.
it's a new, I guess, thinking that I'm ideating on.
Yeah, I think it's really healthy that we have these questions about like, oh, what are the mountains are calling. What does that mean for me? Do I go? Do I stay? Like
Right.
where is my heart leading me? Where's my head leading me? Um, and I think those are always like if we think of them as crossroads, we can make
Hmm.
deliberate decisions about what's aligning with our values and move in
Hmm.
that direction. Yeah. Okay, we always ask this question. It's so interesting to see what direction people go. It's the last question. But before we get to this question, how will people find you and how will people get in contact with you?
Sure. The website is backtowildadventures.com and also in the socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I put on the back burner for a little bit. It's just me and making videos consumes a lot of time.
No
I'm
kidding.
also on LinkedIn under Carlyn Morris /Carlyn Morris, Carlyn Morris. And also, Back to Wild has a LinkedIn page as well. You can email me at carlin@backtowildadventures.com as well. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Amazing. All right, here's our last question. What is a semi-big decision that you have to make in the next month?
Oh, that's a good question. Big decision. Um, I'd be like, when am I going back to Texas for Christmas? No, a big decision. I guess
Well, we say semi-big because it's so
semi-big.
interesting what people like. What's a semi-big decision?
I know. I'm like, either it's a little or it's a big. I think one thing is, because I do marketing part-time, as another income river, as I call them. I don't want a stream, I want a river. Whether or not I'm going to take on another income river for another
Mm,
marketing
mhm,
brand. I've
mhm.
had a couple of proposals that I've sent out, and that's the decision that has to really align with me. Yes, because I'm going into my cold season as far as my local hikes, things like that. I mean, I do take people out in the snow if they want to go. A lot of people don't want to go. As far as corporate, I can go anywhere, obviously. And, I could go to Austin, I could go to Arizona, things like that. So it's the next one is whether or not I'm going to take on another brand
Okay.
as far as having another income river.
Amazing. Thank you for everything. I'm
Yes,
inspired.
you're
I'm
welcome. Thank
surprised.
you.
I'm delighted. I feel deeper connected to you.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting words?
Don't wait. If there is something you're gonna do, like go do it. I made a last minute decision to do a hiking trip in 2017 that actually ended up putting me on this path in reflection. And it was last minute. I was in no means in shape, or I would just went as I was, and I climbed Angel's Landing, which is in the top
Ah,
5 hardest hikes in the world.
oh, it makes me so
And I
happy.
made it.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
You're always a partner with Roundtable Institute. We love talking with you. I love learning from you. And may there be many, many more conversations
Yes,
just like this.
absolutely. Thank you so much. It was great to talk to you.
Thanks, Carlyn.